Look who just rolled in. It's time to butter up your ears to laughs, life, and a little flaky wisdom. It's all about the biscuits with RJ.
At All About the Biscuits, we believe life's just a big old platter of toppings. Flaky, spicy, sweet, even messy. And guess what? We butter them all up and dig right in. Whether it's real talk or ridiculous rants. I'm RJ and we're serving it hot. All topics, all biscuits, always served hot.
All right, folks, welcome back to All About the Biscuits with RJ. That's right, this guy. One take, that's all. We don't edit, we just keep on going until part 2 for next time. I want to thank everybody for joining us once again, for all our followers as we keep growing and talking about everyday items, topics. All topics, all biscuits are always served hot. And if you don't like it, there's the door. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you. It's okay. Today's topic, cut too short. It's not something I normally talk about. Don't usually talk about people that have passed. My way of grieving is probably not the same as everybody. Everybody has a certain way to grieve. And I choose, or I should say, I typically compartmentalize and stuff it away. And I look at death, or when someone passes away, however you want to say it, as a part of life. And, I like to celebrate life. And I know that sounds kind of weird because for me personally, I think a lot of times it's kind of selfish to expect that my feelings come first once someone's passed away. And I mean that in the sense that I have to think of those that it affects beyond myself. I normally, like I said, stuff it away deep down, and I grieve in time by staying busy, working, whatever it might be. I think staying busy is the main thing, not necessarily drowning my sorrows in a bottle or any of that kind of crap. And don't get me wrong, there are times, having, if that's your thing, by all means. I don't really do funerals. Memorials are different to me. I just, I'd rather remember that person as they were, as their best selves. It's tough. So this one, cut too short, is exactly what it means. The topic, or the person is about my brother, Curtis, who was a drug addict. And for many years, when he was alive, I didn't see a lot of the beginning phases of his addiction. I was away at college. My parents handled it, dealt with it, and did the best they could. My brother was the kind of person that where he was good with his hands and he can build anything, do anything, fix anything. He was the guy that you would call to be your personal handyman. Like, he didn't even have to know how to. He can fix something without having to ever have looked at it, done it, touched it. He was just very creative. Growing up, when he was in high school, he started making. Uh, he was the genius and the creator in metal shop, wood shop, all the trades. Uh, when we were growing up, when I'd come home, I'd see that he had this whole layout in my parents' basement, and he was building guitars from scratch. And he also knew how to play guitar, which I am not musically inclined. I would love to learn how to play guitar, but him and my dad were the guitar players and the musicians in the family. Um, but yeah, my brother was the one that would give you the shirt off his back. He was the one that was the all around athlete. He was the one that was book smart. He was the one that can build and fix anything until he got into the wrong crowd. And, he was the baby of the family. I'm not going to get into a discussion, being the oldest who dealt with the worst of it. But, he had a good childhood, got in with the wrong crowd, and started doing drugs. It started off with pot and then into hard drugs a little bit later. I guess, I'm not an addict. So I guess you just try something else to take away the pain. He didn't like to deal with conflict. Whenever he felt like something was going bad, that's where he turned. Um, and but he was, you know, all his characteristics, if I could have those, like I said, he was the nicest guy, uh, athletic, just, give the shirt off your back. But one of his weaker traits was he didn't like to deal with conflict. And when something would come up that was going to be negative or such, he would turn to drugs. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, he uh he went on to be like working construction. Then more specifically, he went on to do custom bathrooms. I mean, some of this stuff was pretty damn impressive. But like I said, I wasn't there a lot of the time. At the beginning, I would say probably the first half of his addiction life when he was older. He met his wife, has three beautiful kids, which unfortunately, since his passing, I haven't seen them. They kind of retreated back into their own lives. It was always tough situation. Um, his wife and myself, I just kept even keel to keep the peace. We didn't agree on a lot of things, especially politics. But I swear I just left it at that because I always wanted to see them and see the kids and such. A lot of things changed. When I stopped giving money, because later on, you do the hard love, you go through the rehabs. I know all the history about it even before I realized what was going on and came into the picture. And it was one conversation. I had to tell him I can't give him any more money, even to help. He was working. I all the money was probably going towards his addiction, most likely. But yeah, I couldn't afford it anymore, and that's when our relationship at that time, just kind of faded a little bit because once you stop enabling, it's and put up boundaries, it's everybody else's fault, it's the world's fault. You're not helping me, and all the normal stereotypes that actually are fact because the way that an addict acts towards other people. But yeah, so and I realized everything when my brother had an incident in Pennsylvania, where I guess he passed out on a roof and fell off, and he was in the hospital, and I went to visit, and seeing him there, I just lost it. And that's when the first time, my parents and my sister explained everything that was going on. Because at that point, they had, I guess, shielded me from it. I was away, living my life. And yeah, um, God bless them for going through that. But then from there on, I was probably an enabler, you know. Uh, After that, he got his shit together for a little while. Was still smoking pot, not so many hard drugs, but then years went by, uh, um, and you still communicate, and but like I said, when I stopped helping him financially, and I just couldn't do it, and I knew I had to set boundaries. It just kind of went to the wayside then, and you just wish them the best, and you hope that you can visit and see your nieces and nephew and move on from there. But then he was having trouble with his wife, and he had to move out. And like I said, he always had a job, but it just all everything just would go wrong, and the blame would always be someone else. It was a cycle that would just keep on happening, and you know, I never stopped to really grieve. I just kept moving. Trying to stay in touch with the kids, and they just kind of fell off the face of the earth, started doing their own thing. They got older. They know where I am and my sister. They communicate a little bit with her, but I wish I could see them. They're growing up to be young, decent kids, young adults. It's sad. So my brother, he passed away uh, August 1st of 2017. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him and miss him. And I wish that he could be here to see his kids grow up. I know a lot of people deal with it, and I know a lot of people who um, have family members that are drug addicts or were, and it's a tough situation. But if there's any advice I can give, is you gotta let them. Life's got to take its course, because it's hard enough to try to be there to help them and not be an enabler, but you got to set boundaries, because it will drain you mentally, physically. And I miss my brother a lot. I wish he could see um how great he was, and then to find out afterwards that he always looked up to me, and I just never knew that from him. I just wish the best for his kids, and I wish I could see them. I wish they'd reach out someday and realize that we're here, we're family. But yeah, you lose someone, especially to addiction. I'm not going to get into details about how he died. It was a drug overdose. To me, him and his wife were struggling, and I know he needed a fix. It had been a while since he had done hard drugs, so his body probably couldn't take it. And basically, it's what happened. It was harder on my sister because they were really close. My brother and I were 8 years apart, but I do miss him every single day, and I just hope that others grieve, get it out, and know that you're not alone. And it's part of life. And I know he's in a better place now. And his life was cut too short, for sure. But that's sometimes, we can't save them from themselves. Curtis Swist, he was a great brother, great friend, but he was a drug addict. And it really fucking sucks. But, just be aware you're not alone and we're all in this together. So please just be kind, put a smile on someone's face, and go out to the world and make it a better place. Until next time, part 2 will be coming up, and we'll continue to be there for each other. Remember, be kind and make someone smile.
Thanks for pulling up a chair with us at All About the Biscuits. Remember, life's messy, flaky, and sometimes sweet, but we're in it together. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, leave a review, and pass the plate to a friend. See you next time.